In the first video, I asked whether starting YouTube near retirement is even worth testing. Some of you watched that and thought, maybe. Others felt something different. This doesn't feel right for someone like me. Today, I want to talk to you about why that feeling exists and why it might be the most important, smartest, and clearest thinking you're doing. Before I go any further, let me explain how this channel works. I organize these videos into teaching sequences called build arcs. Usually 3 videos. We think one question through, and then we pause. That is a build arc. And this build arc is about testing the question. This video explains why YouTube often feels wrong and why that friction matters. Let's name a few thoughts you might be having. You don't have to agree with all of them. Just notice, do any of these sound familiar? I'm too old for this. I'm not a performer. What I know isn't content, it's just my job. I wouldn't even know where to start. If you've thought any of those things, you're not alone, and you're not wrong for thinking them. Most veteran and experienced teachers like you and me were trained in a certain way. We were trained to prepare before we speak, earn authority over time, stay behind the scenes, not in the spotlight, protect our credibility. Now, let's look at YouTube. What does YouTube seem to reward? Visibility, speed, performance, virality, trending, public trial and error. That's not a small difference I just mentioned. That's a complete and total mismatch. So when YouTube feels wrong, it's not fear. That's your training and your experience, noticing the system. A system that doesn't fit by default. And that mismatch, well, it creates friction. It's just an uneasy feeling. You feel it right away. But here's the key idea. Friction is not a stop sign. Friction is important. Friction is information. Good teachers didn't get where they are because they ignored resistance. No, they asked questions. Where's this friction coming from? What is this friction protecting? Your discomfort isn't saying, never do this. What you're hearing is, if I do this wrong, it will cost me. That's not fear. That's judgment. Judgment that was earned through your experiences. And that judgment, well, to be honest with you, it deserves respect. When you think, I'm too old for this, what you're really saying is, me? I don't want to play a young person's game. And that's a fair statement. When you worry about looking unpolished, you're protecting your credibility. when you think experience isn't content. Well, you're too close to it, because that's familiarity talking, not actual truth. Because what's ordinary to you and to me is often rare to someone else. None of these reactions mean YouTube is wrong for you. They mean the default version might be wrong for you. So the question isn't, how do I push past this discomfort? No, that's the wrong question. The better question is there a way for me to test YouTube that respects my judgment and protects my identity? That's what the next video in this build arc is about. Not growth, not optimization, not views, not subscribers, not analytics. Just a small test that gives you real information. Because careful thinking isn't hesitation. It's leadership.